One. What's good, everybody? You are locked into the OneShot podcast, powered by Music Hypebeast, the largest independent multimedia broadcast platform for creators and artists in the game right now. Tonight, we're sitting down with DUMM MUNEE, an independent force coming out of hip hop universe. This is where we tap into the real story, the grind, the doubt, the sacrifices, the small wins, the big L's, and the sound that makes their name ring different. My name is April Harley, aka Gigi Max. I'm the power host tonight for the OneShot podcast, and I am super honored to be illuminating the creative genius of DUMM MUNEE on our show. The OneShot podcast is syndicated on iHeartRadio and Pandora, so this energy is traveling everywhere. And we want to give a shout out to our local sponsors, Walmart. And we want to take a moment right now to just tap in with Walmart. Give us 1 second, and we are going to run some information you guys need to hear. All right. Thank you to our sponsors. All right. Let's start the show. DUMM MUNEE. We are so honored to have you on our platform. Let's get into the origin of your story. And why don't you just shout out and say hello to the universe right now, and we'll jump into your story.
Man, what's going on? It's your boy DUMM MUNEE, representing that third coast, down South Texas, baby, what it is.
All right, love that. Now, when did you get that kind of I do music, that bug? When did it hit you and hit your life? Let's start at the core. When did music become your life? What was that moment like, that conversation? Was it heartbreak or some type of situation that happened personally for you that switched the switch for you?
Actually, what happened was, I grew up around the time when the Screwed Up Clique, DJ Screw and everything was, making their noise, just now starting out in Texas. And a lot of my friends in school was doing their little freestyle things and stuff like that. And I was always kind of shy. I ain't really never want nobody to know that I even tried. But I had wrote a song one time, and I had let one of my homeboys read it. And he laughed at me for about 6 months after reading that song. Because, I'm not going to lie, it was terrible. It wasn't rhyming. It was just terrible. And what ended up happening with that was I don't like being laughed at. So I ain't never let nobody hear nothing I ever done again until I got a little older. But at that moment, I think I was like in the 7th grade. But at that moment, I was like, the next time I let somebody hear something, they ain't gonna laugh at me.
Okay. I love that. So are you still like that now with your music too?
Now, yeah, I'm still like that now, but at the same time, if I can make you laugh, I like to make you chuckle off of something, because a laugh is better than a frown any day of the week.
Oh, I love that. I gotta write that down. Now, you clearly chose a lane, right? Where, let's be honest, like they say 95% of people don't make it, right? So you picked this lane with the music industry, where 95% of people never quote unquote make it. What did you have to accept in your head, your mind, your spirit about failure? Like, and being slept on, like when that person's laughing at you, and what was your uncertainty before you really committed to the path? Because you could have given up. You could have just let that, make you give up, but you didn't. So what made you choose to continue to do this?
I started hearing a lot, like I said, at that same time, growing up, by the time I got to high school, Master P had just came out with Make 'Em Say, I didn't know he had been grinding since 1992. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but he had just came out with Make 'Em Say, and that swept through Texas like wildfire. So, that kind of reassured me that if I stay, if I keep with it, like I eventually be able to do something with it. But what solidified it for me was, the cleaner, the 409 cleaner.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Okay, so they was interviewing the owner of that company, and they asked him where he got the name 409 from, and he was like,
Mm,
it became the name because it took me 409 tries to get it right, and so that kind of made me understand then. And then after that, I started hearing a lot like a successful person is just somebody that didn't give up.
yes,
You're gonna have a
yes.
million failures, but you only need to be right one time.
You better preach. Talk that talk, Delma. Wow.
That's
I
pretty
didn't
much
know
what
that.
did it for me.
Okay. I didn't know that about 409 too. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So, with this next question, is really about money, stress, and staying in the game. So I'm thinking about, the choices you made and the owner of 409, like how much money was invested. Money becomes a thing for artists, especially, right? Because the independent life
Definitely.
isn't a cheap thing, right? So can you talk about a real moment where maybe the money side almost made you fall back from the music through investment or through not seeing your return on investment, right? Where you may not be making money, but you're doing it from the heart. Would you be able to share a story that about your mindset or your hustle that stopped you from quitting 409 times, right?
You know what happened? I'll give you this story.
Thank you.
Um, I used to I used to sell. They had this stuff down here. I know they had it up there, but I don't think it was called the same thing. But they had this
Hmm.
stuff out here in the streets not too long ago. Well, yeah, it wasn't too long ago, and
Hmm.
it was called K2, or we call it Kush
Hmm.
down here because that's what they had printed on the bags. And I had started selling that stuff, and
Hmm.
I want to say like over the course of like maybe 6 months, I think I made about $100,000 off of it.
What?
I started to try to take that and I wanted to invest that into my music career.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting my house rated. And I remember like I thought it was a dream. I remember I was laying in the bed, my baby mama and my kids in the bed with me, and I was asleep and I heard the boom and I heard them like basic police, young, whatever, whatever. I hear the cops running in and I hear all these footsteps and I open my eyes and I look through the doorway and I see about six cops standing in the doorway in full riot gear, you know what I'm saying? With
Mm.
AR-15s pointed at me and my kids.
Oh my God.
And they didn't even know they didn't even know that my kids was in the bed with me. That was like, if you know the law, this is just something I'm sharing. If you know the law, if they're really doing their homework on the case, they're not supposed to do a level three force entry if there's children inside the house because there's child endangerment.
Hmm.
So
And they didn't check or anything.
no, they didn't do nothing. They just ran in the house because they thought it was a trap.
Hmm.
So they run in there, and my son, he was like two, maybe three at the time, and he
Hmm.
set up when he saw him. He jumped up quick and started, he started crying. And one of the cops swung their gun towards him, and I kind, that's when I jumped up like, no,
Yeah,
that's
you're in
my
defense
son.
mode. Yeah.
So they end up snatching me out. They take me to jail, all type of whatever, whatever. But when I got out of jail, because I sat in jail for like 4.5 months, just sitting, waiting to go to court
Hmm.
while they playing, they playing with my life over lunch and dinner and stuff like that. But when I got out, I came home to nothing. My parents had my kids. My baby mama gone. She in rehab. So I'm like, man. So at that moment, you know, it kind of made me feel like quitting because right after that happened, I had got offered an opportunity,
Hmm.
and the opportunity costed a little bit of an investment. But just coming home off of that, that situation, I didn't have nothing. I didn't have the money to do anything. So
Hmm.
at that moment, I was like, well, I guess it's not meant for me to do this after all.
But something clicked and you made it
Oh yeah,
happen.
well, no. What happened was
Hmm.
that happened in 2014.
Okay.
my baby mama, she left. She took the kids and everything and left me. I say like by April of 2015, she called me and asked me to come and get my kids. You know me, I'm like
Mm,
when they left, I went harder than what I was doing before. Before they raided the house. But
yeah.
she called me about April of 2015, and she was like, "I need you to come get the kids." So I know the
Mm-hmm.
life she living ain't right. So when she called me with that, I say, "All right, cool." So I get my sister to take me. We go all the way to Mississippi to get my kids. Come back. From that day forward, she only came to see them like maybe once or twice, maybe three times at the most. And that's from then, from 2015 till now where I'm at right now. In 2025, they only seen their mom probably about three times since then. And they they asked me why I wasn't making no songs no more, why I wasn't doing
Mm-hmm.
none of that no more.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted me to do it. And I asked them, I said, "Y'all really want me to do this?" And they was like, "Yeah." And, just seeing the smiles on their face and the light in their eyes when they asked me, when I asked
Oh,
them that, I knew I had to figure something out. I'm their hero, so I can't let them down.
hey, Hero Money. No, this story, thank you. Wow. Thank you for sharing because it's a lot as far as especially when you're trying to figure it out with your mental health and keeping your mind right and sane and balanced to deal with the things that are happening in life and then your children and still trying to pursue your passion. So I know that what you're sharing, like people can identify with whatever the situation is. And as far as your mental health, because it's, the kids, they got to come back from that too, from that situation. Everybody is kind of traumatized, and it's like you now have to recalibrate and find balance. And I'm so glad that you were there. Like when mom was like, I can't do it, you were on it, like just there. So shout outs to you for holding it down.
Thank you.
And, it just leading into your story is kind of like shaping the questions. But as far as your mental health and the pressure, sometimes I'm a mother, is like a parent, right? So I'm a mother and I get it. And
Right.
I have to really remind myself of things, and they have to see us through our transitioning, right? So, what for you is the hardest part in your mind, like currently, regarding life and your music career and things that are going on? Like, would you say it's like self doubt, uh, comparison to other artists, lack of support, your relationships, lack of support, anything like that? Um, and when that inner voice starts to talk to you, because 2014 and right now, that's what, like 11 years, you may be stronger in telling yourself things when that little voice gets in your ear of like, oh, it's time to quit or you don't have it. How do you reset and protect your peace at this moment that you're in?
So mental health is a real hard thing for me because I was in the military. Uh, Prior
Right,
to
Navy
having my
vet,
children, I
right?
went to the military,
Yeah.
and when I went to Iraq a couple times, but taken
Mm-hmm.
from that and a lot of things that I saw while on my military service, it kind of
Mm-hmm.
messes with my mental health as well. So when I take all that and I put it together with what I'm dealing with now, I mean, I don't really get much sleep at night. I can't sleep at night, and it's like I might get like maybe 2 3 hours of sleep a night, and I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of. I'm by myself at that time because most people sleep or doing whatever they need to do to get ready for the next day. So with me, as far as not quitting and feeling like maybe it is time to quit, the way I look at that is I look at like let's take Willie Nelson for example. Willie Nelson is up there in age. He either in his 80s or 90s. I'm not sure which one because I don't really know how old he is. But I know no one ever stopped to tell Willie Nelson, He was too old to still be touring. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at that, I look at people trying to tell me I'm too old or whatever it may be. I look at that like, okay, you just somebody that you don't even want what I have. You just don't want me to have it. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So you just a hater. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get mad at me because I'm not afraid to chase my dreams. I
Yeah.
might not be able to put a pretty bow around it, but it looks how it needs to look for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And people don't understand that. That a lot of times it's not even just you're chasing your dreams because that's your purpose in life. That's your journey, and people don't understand that. That's why the whole concept like of haters, people don't understand their own journey because you shouldn't even be focused on mine if you were working on your own. You chasing your dreams, it's a spirit there that's like, this is what you need to do. You need to talk to the people. You need to connect to people through your music. It's
See,
burning in you.
right there, you hit a nail on the head that most people will never understand. I had someone tell me one time, it was like, you ever wonder why that little voice inside you always tell you keep going, keep going,
Mm-hmm.
keep going?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why is that? He was like, because your dreams, your ambition, that's what you were put on this earth for. You wasn't put on
Yep.
this earth to work a job that you hate. You weren't put on this earth to slave. You weren't put on this earth to do nothing. You were put on this earth
Yeah.
to do whatever the
Well,
Most High put inside your heart and what talks to you at night when ain't nobody else doing that.
amen, I say. You better just speak to the people. We didn't even get into your music and your sound yet. We about to get into that. But we had to get a little deep dive into who DUMM MUNEE is, right? This is dope. Um, let's, we were just talking before we actually went live of your sounds. So I want to segue into that as we're talking about how you connect with people and, walk in your purpose, your sound, and like what makes you you, right? If somebody were to hit play, which I did today, on your catalog or, any of your songs for the first time, what is the signature you they're going to hear? Like break down your, what we would say, creative DNA, your tone, your melodies, your drum choices, your writing style. Like, what would you say separates you and your sound from the noise of like just a bunch of music that's coming out, oversaturated audiences? What can people find for you that separates you?
I mean, I'm always be authentically myself. I can pretend to
Mm-hmm.
be something all day long or pretend to want to try to follow a fad, but that's not gonna last. Well, I don't know about nobody else, but I think longevity. So thinking longevity, can't nobody be me but me. They can attempt, they can try, they can study me, they can do whatever they want, but they can never be me. Just like I can never be anyone else.
Yes. Look, our fingerprints tell us that, right? Every fingerprint is different. Like you're not meant to be anyone else. So, but as far as like your sound, if you could describe it, and I never like to put people in a box, and I think especially now, music these days, the genres are so open. What would you describe your sound as?
I mean, it's my story. I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
how can I? It's it's not just my story though. It's the story of everybody that can never come in contact with me. I have a sound that's, they try to say it's a little dated because my music sound like it might fit in between the time frame of like 2005, 2006, probably to about 20, 2012, 2013, around that
Mhm.
time frame. But it's not that that if my style is dated or I'm stuck in time. It's just
Mhm.
that I want you to hear the wisdom in what I'm saying, opposed to me just putting something out because it sound hot or it sound, oh man, that's gonna be a hit, that's gonna be a hit. All right, but what can people learn from it? Like they always told me that if your music can't change the mood of the people that's listening to it, then it's not gonna, people not gonna resonate with it. So
Yeah.
I try to put my hmm, it's like I guess if you would have to compare it to something, it'll probably sound like some I don't know, maybe like UGK, some older E40 or some,
Okay, I can
no
see that.
limit type, cash money type, 3-6 Mafia, not like when they were still 3-6, like when the smoke clears type, music down to Two Chains when he first broke off and started doing broke off from Player Circle and doing his own thing.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
it, it's
It's a nice blend.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a nice blend because it even got a little bit of LA in it from time to time, depending on what I'm feeling.
And fix your speaker. It's hard to hear you a little bit. I had to add a little juvenile too, though.
What
If I
about now?
could just, well, that's perfect. That sounds great.
Cool.
I just wanted to add a little juvenile as well.
Yeah,
Not necessarily.
definitely juvenile.
That was my first
You
thought.
know what? You from up north, so you can respect this. Nas too.
Okay, I'm gonna dig deeper. Okay, Nas,
I like Nas, man, and
I got you.
DMX.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. Like as we talk about like the feel, because it's like we're in a very streamed basis of like likes and what people are listening to based on social media and the numbers and algorithms. So like feelings versus streams when people are listening to your music late night in their room, driving in the car on a long drive, out with their homies or whatever. What do you want them to feel? And if you could just drop like, or mention just one song from your catalog that would best deliver that feeling and why, if you could share that.
You know what? You actually mentioned the song earlier. That song Highway. I enjoy that. That's just a song. It's just ambitious. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want people to. I want people to hear my music and know that they can do whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to create
Yeah.
that ambition, that hunger that's inside them to go ahead and strive for their dreams. Because if I can do it, you hear this a lot, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. You just gotta
Yeah.
figure out what works for you.
Yeah. No, that song is definitely, it's an anthem. There's like the lessons, the morals. It's hype. You could dance to it. It's a nice blend. I love that song. And would that song be, or would you want to choose another song that's like closest to like your real life right now? Because I mean, I don't think that any songs that you're putting out don't fit close to your life because it is your story and your journey. But if you had to pick one song closest to your, like the realest song to your life right now, like if you could paint that scene
Mm.
for us, who was involved, what were you going through, like this kind of like the story you share with me about your family and what happened, with the kids and how you woke up and you thought that was a dream. I don't even know if you have a song about that yet, but what you were
Nah.
going through the most. Yeah, you might want to write about that. Dumb Money, come on. But a song from your discography now that would relate to your life the most. Would it still be Highway? Would it be something
Um.
else?
Actually, I've been. Remember earlier I was saying that everything that could go wrong has been going wrong.
Yes, you did say that.
I got a song right now. I'm not sure if I don't think you heard it yet, but I got a single that's being pushed on radio right now. It's called Jaywalking,
Jaywalk?
and yeah, and it's funny because when a lot of people hear that, they thought, especially when they see the cover art, they like, oh, he talking about Michael Jordan shoes, and I'm like, nah, that's not what I'm talking about at all. But what it is, basically, like, it's not really what I'm going through right now, but it's
Mm-hmm.
what I feel right now. Because, like, I have a part in that song where I talk about how my cousin ended up going to prison for 20 years for a crime his friends committed. You know what I'm saying? And his friends got to walk free. And that cousin, he's not here anymore. He never got a chance to hear the song. He died like a few months before I came back home. And, when I look at that and I, you know, look at what I'm going through at the moment. Well, I'm not really going through it no more because I done already went to court for it, and
Mm-hmm.
they handed out their judgment, which it was an unfair judgment both ways. They was like, oh, well, you can take this and you can go sit down for a few years in the penitentiary. And I'm like, well, I just told you I got kids I got to take care of. Their mom's not in their life.
Right.
That's not even an
Mm-hmm.
option for me,
Not an option.
you know. And so they still felt the need to put me on supervised, well, on probation. I'm on felony probation right now with, I got 4 years of that. Um, they gave me a fine, like a fine out this world. And I'm like, that's crazy. And the thing that gets me is the whole time I'm listening to these people talk and decide what I get to do
Mm-hmm.
with my life. The
Right.
whole time I hear them saying, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. I know it's about
Mm-hmm.
the money. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, y'all told me one number when I left the courtroom. I come
Mm-hmm.
back, they done added 2 more thousand to it. And
Mm.
I'm like, wait a minute, y'all said this. And they were like, oh no, this is for this. And I'm like, why do I have to pay y'all if I'm not even being supervised in y'all county? It's just the whole politic thing. And that song basically preaches about, well, it don't preach about it, but it pretty much tell you about unjust laws and the system that as a black man, regardless of how old you are, what you have to do in order to just have somewhat, because your life will never be normal as long as you're African American or black, what is it, Afro
The
Latino and
BIPOC.
stuff, things like that. Yeah, as long as you look like me, because me, I'm not even African American. My people, well, my grandmother, she's Indian on my mom and dad's side. My grandmother on my mom's side, just West Indian. Well, my grandfather was West Indian. My grandmother was Indian. She was an Indian from India, but she was born in Trinidad. So, I'm not even African American, but yet still, just because I have a certain complexion,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I'm gonna be treated. And it's like that's basically what that song is right now. It's just telling you how you got to keep going regardless of whatever, because you don't have a choice. If you give up, you're gonna end up dead or just sitting in jail. You don't want to stay stagnant.
Mm-hmm. No, I absolutely agree with you. Wow. Your story is deep, Dumb Money. Like you're reaching the souls right now, I'm gonna check in on you, after this interview and stuff too. When you think of your life as a movie, if you were to think about it, because it sounds like some like a documentary or a movie, could happen too from this. A lot of the situations that we go through in life are like, I couldn't write a book, like I couldn't make this up. A lot of people say that, like I can't make this up. Like this is my real life, and so many stories are depicted from just our real life. Like everything you just said, like I could watch this in a film and I would relate to it. I would empathize. I would get it. I would learn from it as well. So that's kind of what I see and hear from your story. And just as far as your music, with it relating to movies, how would you? I would say, what would your storyline be, like from your first release, from the first song that you've ever released to your latest drop? Like if you could describe, like you could even say just the movie title, if there's a movie that's out there that you identify with that's very close to your life, but it feels very cinematic. So,
You know
from the
what?
first song you ever released to now, like how would you know, describe that in movie form?
It would be everything would be in a movie entitled Nine Lives,
Not
and
409
I
lives,
say that,
9 lives.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
9 lives. Like.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say that is because it's funny you asked me that question, because I don't remember what happened yesterday. Something happened yesterday, and I started going back through my thoughts, and I looked at all the times that I was, I was in a situation to where I probably could, well, not probably could have, I could have died, and it was just, and that was. I don't even think I have songs about either of those situations. But when I sat down and I thought about it, I looked at like the first time I remember seeing a shootout. I was like, I think I was probably about 5, maybe 6 years old.
Mm.
I was sitting on my uncle's porch and I watched these dudes go at it. But all it took is one stray to hit me on that porch because we
Right?
didn't see the dude. I didn't see who they was arguing with. We just heard the
Mm.
shots come from behind the house. So I'm like, oh, man, all it would have took was one to take me in.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking about another situation to where I was at home sleep, and I remember my homeboy called me telling me they had just got into it with some dudes at the club, and they coming somewhere they need me to meet them. And me being
Mm.
loyal, I get up and I go out there, and we get into it with these dudes. I don't remember what happened. They got around the car and they hit the gas. Somehow we get in the car, we smash off. It's like a real high speed chase on it wasn't a residential street, but it was kind of like a main street, and we somehow get in front of them, and my homeboy them they got behind them. So the dudes feel box in. What they gonna do? They start shooting, but they ain't shoot it. No, but they start shooting, and I remember my girlfriend at the time. She grabbed me and pulled me down. After that,
Oh.
the tire went flat, so we pulled over, and I'm mad because they didn't shot at me. I feel some type of way right now, but after I kind of calmed down and realized what was going on, the tire that the back driver's side tire where I was sitting was the tire that went flat, which let me know they were shooting at me. They wasn't shooting at
Yeah.
nobody else but me. And somehow I missed that. So I'm like, man,
Yeah, it's
that's just
protection.
two situations. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I feel like I was protected because I was blinded. You know what I'm saying? I'm brainwashed into thinking I have to live a certain way. So now that I'm
Mm-hmm.
older and I understand that when situation now, like dudes get to arguing with me and I don't even want to fight now because of simple fact I can't fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm the best fighter in the world. No, I'm just saying
Right.
that I know how to. Well, no, I used to box as a kid. Well, in my teenage years, so I know how to. I know how to throw my hands if I have to.
If you
But
have to, yeah.
now when people come at me with situations like that, I just try to remove myself from the situation because I realized a long time ago that most dudes they can't accept the loss. They can't accept getting beat up, especially in front of people. They can't accept it. And I know that because I got a homeboy that's dead right now from a situation like that. you know. So when I look at that, and he was just 22 at the time, that was around the same time I got shot at. He died a couple of years after that. He got shot at a party, got hit 4 times in the chest after he beat the dude up. Or did we get disconnected?
No, I'm here. Sorry, the mic was doing the mic thing. It sounds like, yeah, I'm here. It sounds like your story is like you turning pain into a playbook. And with us talking about like your movie and, because I just see the movie coming. And I'll talk to you more about that on Look Who TV. Shout outs to Look Who TV because you need a whole documentary, Dumb Money. You know that, right?
I mean, I've been hearing that a lot lately, and
Okay.
I kind of started, but I need to get more footage.
Yeah, but you got the story, the footage and content, and we'll talk about that offline, but I enjoy hearing your story. I have a question about, just back to the music with your identity versus the algorithms. And we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I just wanted to go back and kind of jump in where people think numbers and algorithms are, defining who you are as an artist, your worth. Who do you think you are without the streams, the views, followers, Spotify numbers, all that? Like, how do you remind yourself? And it's helpful for other artists because I think all of us deal with that. How do you remind yourself that you're bigger than whatever the numbers are saying that you are?
See, the thing is, like, I know that a lot of the people in the industry are using they using bot plays to
Mm-hmm.
not all not all of their streams are bots, but I know a lot of them are bots.
Yep.
You know, Drake kind of gave that away when he tried to sue Universal about
Yeah.
Kendrick's song or whatever. But then it started coming out that, well, they've been inflating your streams for however long they've been doing this. So the streaming game, I don't really like the streaming game. I don't like it because a lot of artists don't get what they deserve from them streams. Like them streams, in like 0.004 cents of a penny. What is that? You
Oh,
know what I'm saying?
it's broke talk.
What it is the math just don't math. Like I
Yeah,
feel
them
like
streams
what
don't be streaming, bro. Ain't streaming money into your account.
at all. And I feel like what David Banner said was true. When we agreed to do that, well, I didn't agree, but when everybody, the players in the game that mattered at that time, when
Mm-hmm.
they agreed to the streaming platforms and everything, they gave hip hop away. They gave that money away.
Yeah,
So
sold it
as
right on
far
out.
as the streams go, I don't really too much. I don't let that bother me at all because I know if I really want to make some money off of what I'm doing, radio is where that's it. Radio streams is between $5 and $6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You can live off of that, and you don't need a billion streams to do it.
exactly. Radio, product,
Yeah, the
touring.
merch, like touring, but don't count out CDs and don't count out physical copies yet either.
So they're
Cause I
coming right
still
back,
go,
right? Mm-hmm.
yeah, I still load up the trunk and go post up and sell them.
Well, good. I hope you get me a vinyl. I collect those.
Now what?
um,
My the manufacturing company I deal with been asking me to get one. Well, some.
mm-hmm. Keep us posted, Dumb Money, about the vinyls because I think everybody is basically using the old, physical form of the music, and people are throwing a QR code on there because we got to keep it relevant too, right? So I get it. I think I have one more question for you. Well, I'll do two. I actually have
Okay.
two because we're talking about you
Okay.
being in the back of the truck with, with your merch and with the things. So let's talk about your fans and the community, and that's basically direct to consumer, direct to fan energy. So you want every artist wants, and I'm sure you do as well. You don't want just the listeners, right? So you want that tribe, that community. What kind of people do you want your music to attract? Like, what's that audience that you? And it could be everybody, but I don't know. What specific audience are you looking to really build with and connect with outside of chasing the viral moments, but like that real in depth, intimate relationship? What does that look like for you?
You know, that looks like people that grew up in like a two-parent household that had their mom and dad, but
Mm-hmm.
they they somewhere got confused into thinking that a street life or whatever it may be is more glamorous than that. Because really, when you look at it, that's what people in the streets striving for. They're striving for that nice calm life to where you come
Yeah.
home every day and don't have to look over your shoulder and all of that. They trying to get out of that. But the way
Yeah.
America, not even America, the way that we're portrayed as a people, they think that they have to go out here and put their life on the line every day, because they're looking, I don't want to upset nobody when I say this, but I'm going to speak my mind.
Mm-hmm.
They're blinded by people who still have a high school mentality. And what I mean by a high school mentality is they want to talk down on the person that want to get married and have a family with kids and you know, whatever they made. They look down on that. Nah, they want you to feel like you gotta have 10 females that you come home to on a daily basis. They want you to be out here a hot boy, always ducking the police and ducking charge. That's what they want you to believe that's what life is, and that's not life. That's not life. That's
Chaos
I,
and instability, anxiety, trauma.
yeah. It's everything that you just said and then some.
Yes, multiplied. That's so true. Misery loves company, right? It sure does.
Man, if only you knew. If only you knew. I have a cousin. I love her to death. You know what I'm saying? But she done sent her brother, her uncle, her children, and everybody to the penitentiary. She tried to get me one time. Let me know right there. You
You
know, you
escaped it
just
like
gotta be
that
careful.
shooting. Went the flat.
I didn't escape it. I went to jail that night, but not for what she thought I went for. Not for what she called them people and told them.
Mm-mm-mm.
But I think when her brother died, she kind of started like, oh, I didn't miss my brother's whole life because he went to prison at 17. When he got out, he was 37. You know what I'm saying? And he been back and forth to the penitentiary ever since because he got institutionalized while he was still a kid because they tried him as an adult.
We gotta have another interview about this. There's a lot, and the audience that I suggest to. We work with. I don't know if you've ever heard of JPay.
But
Have
yeah,
you
I
heard of?
definitely heard of JP. You know what Jay Wright was telling me about that. I know all about that, man. That's how they get everything and locked up in there. That's how they get everything.
Yeah, you have some
That's how they
stories
stay.
to share. Yeah, and we have our podcast where we share with that audience as well. And I feel like you'd be great to have these conversations too. So I'm gonna talk to Jonathan about that as well. And we're definitely gonna have to edit some things here because I love our conversation though. But it just made me think about a lot of the things that you're saying. So I do have
But
one final
can I
question.
say this? Before you say this, can I say this? I want to say this because I want if it's a young kid or whatever out there listening, I want them to know this. I have never been to the penitentiary a day in my life. I've been to county jail and I sat, but I've never been to the penitentiary and I do not have any felonies on my record. I'm on felony probation right now, but it's deferred. As long as I do what I need to do for these, you know, 2 years that they want me to sit on this, as long as I stay out of trouble, it's gonna be wiped off my record, and I'll still be able to say that I'm a black man that lives with no felony charges and have never been to the penitentiary, and that's what I strive for because I want my kids to be like that. I want
And
other kids to be like that.
yes, grandkids, all that. I love that. That's a great thing to share. Thank you for that. We got thank you for sharing that. We have our final moments for now anyway. Um the one shot moment. I think that's a good segue what you just said into the one shot moment. This is the One Shot podcast, so we have to ask this. If there was your one shot to talk directly to the world about who you are as an artist, what's the core message you want people to remember after the music stops, that goes away? What do you want people to know? What's your message to them?
Live your life the best that you can and enjoy it because you only get one.
Hey, Dumb
Don't
Money,
be,
big love.
I was just gonna say, don't get blindsided and crowded by things that don't mean anything. Because once it's over, once it's lights out, that's that. And you don't want the highlight of your life to be, I used to blase blah or blah blah blah, and it's just something around the corner in your neighborhood. Go see the world. It's a whole lot to offer.
Love your energy. Big love to Dumb Money for tapping in with us on the One Shot podcast, powered by Music Hype Beast. If you're rocking with this energy, make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Music Hype Beast. That's TheMusic HYPEBEAST. Lock in and subscribe to Music Hype Beast on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook so you don't miss any episodes, live streams, or exclusive drops from independent creators all over the world. I am one of the power hosts of the OneShot podcast. My name is April Harley, aka Gigi Max. Music Hype Beast is an interactive division of Radio Pushers powered by our parent company, Servo Media Group Incorporated. This is the One Shot podcast where independent artists get their one shot to tell the real story behind the music. DUMM MUNEE, let us know and everybody know where they can find you and tap into your music.
You can find me on all platforms at DUMM MUNEE, MUNEE. The only thing that's different is my Facebook. My Facebook is Dollar Dummy, DOLLADUMMIE, and my music is on all platforms.
All right, DUMM MUNEE, we appreciate you. We look forward to hearing more of your story.
I lost you.